Today, I have a proud University of Georgia grad that was blessed by the Lord with an amazing talent, which is music. His talents, as you can tell by me playing, have led to his first signing with his first record deal with Black River Entertainment back in 2014. His debut single, Tonight Tonight, was featured on NFL's Thursday Night Football on CBS, and it also entered the top 40 on Country Airplay. King co-wrote Randy Houser's single, We Went, with Justin Wilson, Matt Rogers. The song reached #1 on Mediabase and Billboard Country Airplay charts. It also scored him his first ASCAP Songwriter Award in 2016. His music journey has only continued and grown from here. His most recent release, Always Will Be, blasts every morning in my truck, on my way down to work. It's in the house. Even my teen daughter says, "Wow, Dad, he's really awesome. Why is he talking to you?" Thank you so much, Mac. John King, welcome to the Where's Willie podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me. Best intro ever.
Hey, so look, as you and I kind of talked online and just getting to know you, a lot of people have been asking me, since we've gone with the podcast, you're talking to all these different guys, NFL people, C-suite executives, music people, they must live on an island and they're not dealing with a pandemic. Will you please validate for me that, no, it is affecting even celebrities and music artists as well?
Oh, yeah, man. We're all dealing with it. I mean, this has been the first year since I was probably, 15 years old that I haven't played live shows. I mean, every summer we've been out on the road touring 48 states, meeting so many people and seeing all kinds of different parts of the country. Yeah, and this has been the first year I've just had a summer off with my girls, which, I won't complain. That's been great to catch up with them. And I know we'll talk about that, but, I love being a dad and that's been really fun. We honestly needed a break, but I really do. When you're a performer, man, there's just kind of a bug that gets in you and I feel like, I don't know. It's like, what am I doing? Like, I don't know. I need to be out there performing, but it's actually, we were talking about this before the podcast, but it's been cool because it's kind of pushed us out of our comfort zone and forced us to come up with new ways to create, to release music, to put on concerts. I mean, I would have never known until 2020 that so many fans were interested in virtual concerts, and social media has just grown exponentially for us this year because we've been forced to put all our efforts in there. That's the only way we can stay connected with people and our fans. So there's definitely been some good that's come out of it for us professionally. Obviously, I'd never wish a pandemic to, make us have to grow and step out of our comfort zone. But I think we got to just take the good with the bad. And but we're really excited for 2021 because we got high hopes that we're going to be able to get back out there and do some shows.
So now that we know that you're human, and now you can, really just kind of give, some testaments along your own journey. So everybody has their own life's journey, right? And for you, obviously, when I discovered you on social media, I actually found you on Facebook and then Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I said to my daughter, I says, hey, am I outdated? Because a lot of times I go to her for my fashion advice. And then same with the music. And I'll say, hey, is this guy like legit? Like, I think he's incredible. She's like, no, Dad, like this time you're actually right. Rock. So I know that since we started getting all your music and all the, my son and daughter know it, to be able to reach out to you and see like the human side, like you're an amazing person. You're a son, you're a husband, and everything that I see, you love being a dad more than anything. So before we get into that and now, if you would, just for everybody, where did your life's journey begin? Where did you grow up, school-wise? At what point did you realize, hey, you know what, God did give me a talent? And if you would just kind of start out where home was for you growing up.
Yeah, man, I grew up in a tiny little mountain town, northeast Georgia, which is about an hour northeast of Athens, 2 hours north of Atlanta. And it's gorgeous there, beautiful part of the world. And honestly, it's funny when you tour around the country and see all these different places. It's funny how beautiful home is. When you go home, you never realize it growing up, you don't know how good you have it. But one of the upsides and the downsides of it is a very quiet little town. I mean, it's in the mountains. There's not a whole lot to do there. I think we got a Walmart when I was 12 years old, and that was like the biggest thing that had ever happened. People were like, oh my God, everybody's just living at the Walmart. I couldn't believe it. But there wasn't much to do, play sports and music. My mom played piano in our church choir. We grew up in a tiny little church, and I think after so much begging from my grandma and my mom to get up on stage and sing, a Sunday morning hymn, I got up there nervous as could be with butterflies in my stomach and did it. And had people coming up to me saying, like, you're good. Like, you can actually sing. And I was like, thanks. Like,
Yeah.
it was fun. It was recognition, and it was something I was good at. And so I got a guitar. My mom and dad saved up, got me a little guitar when I was about 14. And I just started playing like crazy, trying to learn songs that I loved that I was hearing on the radio. I would sit down just by ear and try to figure out like what chords those were. And I was also really into the lyrics, and I think that's what kind of drew me to country music. My dad grew up loving rock, and I loved rock. I mean, anything from Metallica to AC/DC to Leonard Skinner. And then my mom loved singer-songwriters. She loved James Taylor. She loved Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings. So there was like this cool fusion of those two worlds. And I really just fell in love with songs, though. I thought, man, how cool would it be to take my own melodies and write my own lyrics and my own chords that go in these songs? So I did. I mean, I started making up stupid songs about my buddies, when we were in middle school, and it would get a laugh around a campfire or something, and then it kind of grew into like, we'd have these little garage bands, and I'd come in with like this song I wrote, and, we'd all be standing around, could barely play 3 chords, and could barely, like, had cheap PA equipment and just sounded horrible. But we were cutting our teeth, and just getting in there. We'd play for hours, my little brother played drums. I really wanted to play drums, but he turned out to be better than me. So I had to play guitar and sing. I was like, well, now I'm stuck. So we had these little garage bands, started getting better. And, one day we're out there playing like a Metallica song, and my mom walks out and she's like, somebody has to sing because I'm tired of hearing instrumental Inner Sandman for the 17th time today.
Right.
So I just stepped up to the mic and I did it really because nobody else, would. And I got better and better. My songs got a little better. We started winning Battle of the Bands. We started playing county fairs and church picnics or anything that would have us, and getting in front of people and building up a little following, in our hometown in the Northeast. And that kind of made me think, like, when I got out of, high school, I really want to go somewhere to a town that has like a music scene and a presence where I can develop and grow, and I told my mom, I promised my mom I'd go to college, I was like, a part of me thought like I could just go straight up to Nashville, and go for it now. But I knew I still had a little developing to do for sure. And I'm thankful I did. But Athens, Georgia, to me, had always been a cool music town. It was close to home. It was a state college because I couldn't afford to go to a Belmont or something like that. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a factory worker. So, I got good grades, got into state school at University of Georgia. And it was killer, man, because we had it's a great school. It was a great atmosphere. And then Athens is a great music town. I mean, you're talking about the B-52s, the Indigo Girls, REM, even like the Black Crows, and then into country like Zach Brown Band, Luke Bryan. So many acts had kind of cut their teeth in Athens and built followings there first before they went on to do big things. So to me, that was like really appealing. And I got there and just kind of hit it full speed, man. I was in school, I was studying, but every night I was going downtown, checking out some band, meeting somebody, networking. And before we knew it, we had a really good band there. And that's kind of when it shifted to like, okay, this is serious. Like, this is a career. Like, I can make a career of this. We started selling tickets, we started selling out little clubs, and, the songs were getting better. We made like a little EP that we could sell on the road, and people liked it. And it started to grow, and it gave me confidence, as a songwriter, as a singer, performer. And I knew when I graduated that I had to go to Nashville. Like, that was always my goal. Obviously for country music, it's the place to be. As a songwriter, it's the place to be. There's so much talent here. And so, yeah, I mean, I graduated Georgia, came up to Nashville, and I mean, that was kind of like next chapter in the book, I mean, that was like when the real work started. You kind of think like, okay, like I'm here, like, this is it. Like, now I'm ready. Like, let's do this thing. But that's like when the journey really started. And it took me, man, a couple years to really get any traction. And when I got to this town, I was so blown away and kind of overwhelmed by the amount of talent that it forced me to get better. It forced me to step up and write better songs than I could really write, and sing better than I really sing, and perform better. So it was a really cool challenge, and it's been great up here so far, man. We've been here 6 years now, and it's still a challenge every day, you know. But I'm very grateful that I found some early believers that believed in me and my music, and fans. You know, started making fans, and to me, the fans have always and always will be the most important thing in my career. They're the reason I'm here, and I look up to those acts like Garth Brooks and Taylor Swift that treat their fans like royalty. Like, to me, that's what we're supposed to do, you know, as artists.
You know, and I want to, ask you too, because a lot of people, they wonder, and again, my background, playing Division I football, when you're growing up from the athletic standpoint, you go to the camps to get seen, right? So
Right.
like Coach Kirby, he's going to be at all the camps, and, that's how you get seen. People ask all the time, hey, if you want to be an actor, why do you have to go to LA? If you want to be a musician or in country, you got to go to Nashville. Is it because it's the agents that you want that to see you, or is it the producers, or is it getting into the record studio? Like, why does it benefit somebody that's chasing the same dream as you, maybe one of our listeners? Why going there physically, you got to do it? Who is it you're looking to connect with as, an artist or a songwriter?
Well, I mean, to me, there are other ways. I mean, there are artists who will build followings in Texas or Georgia all the time, and then maybe the record labels come to them. It's just a lot. Those are a lot more few and far between. I think it is because the labels are all here.
Okay.
All the A&R here, all the agents, all the songwriters, all the other artists. So when you get here, you kind of form a network and you become part of this, community. And it really is. Nashville is like a community. Country music really is. I mean, you kind of pull for each other. I don't think it's that way in every industry. I think a lot of industry can be a little more cutthroat, and even other genres of music, but country, there's this cool camaraderie where we all kind of pull for each other, and you become like a family. And I wanted to be a part of that, I really did. And it's great because some of these people I've met here, my agents, producers, songwriters, other artists are friends, for life. But to me, I think it's about getting here and establishing a footprint and getting a buzz, around town about people talking. And that's kind of how I got my first deal. Every night you're playing out, you could be playing for Garth Brooks or whoever could be sitting right there, front row at the Bluebird, and you never know. So there's just such an energy here. And I think more than anything, it makes you better because you have to step up to that challenge of being as good as the talent around you and better. So for me, I think if I would have stayed in Georgia, if I'm looking through the scope of, Habersham County and the amount of competition there is for me there, it's just completely different than here. So, but yeah, to answer your question, I think getting to Nashville or any town where you're going to be presented with the most adversity that can make you as good as you possibly can, I think that's a great way to go.
Now, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Luke Bryan opened his restaurant, and I got lucky. I was up in Jason Aldean's rooftop of his restaurant, and Luke played a live concert right on Broadway. And it was packed. And to your point, every time I go to Nashville, it's like every door along that boulevard. It's amazing music. So with all of those spots, is there a place for you where you have a favorite venue that you love to perform as you were moving up before 2014 when you first signed?
Yeah, I mean, there's one that is very nostalgic to me because it's kind of where it all started. I used to play this little club right across from the Opry, and it's called Puckett's. It's still there. It's kind of like a restaurant bar, very like right in the slap dab middle of Broadway, and it's always crazy busy. You got tourists coming in and out. Everybody's coming in. So I used to play there on Wednesday nights, and that was like my gig. Wednesday night I'd pass the tip bucket. Live off the thing, man, living off the tip bucket. And one night I'm in there playing. I've been playing like 3 hours. It was a long gig. It's just me and acoustic guitar. people are eating and drinking, and it's probably getting to be 10:30 or 11 on a Wednesday night. It's starting to kind of clear out. It's a school night, work night. And I see this guy sitting in the back of the bar. He's been there all night, and he's really into the music. And, I kind of I'm trying to, it's so dark, I couldn't make out exactly who he was. Well, I'm getting toward the end of the set, and he walks up to the tip bucket. And as he gets right to the tip bucket, I see him drop $100 bill, which was awesome. But then what's even more awesome, it was a Randy Houser. Randy Houser drops $100 in the tip bucket. I didn't have a record deal. I didn't know anybody yet. I wasn't, hadn't had any songs, no publishing deal. But he liked what he heard, and dropped $100. But I'm in the middle of a song, so I can't stop and be like, dude, take it to the record label. So that was kind of that. It was a cool story to tell my buddies. But fast forward a couple years, we're writing. Me and Matt and Justin are writing in this room, and we get done with the song, and we're like, man, this would be a great Randy Houser song. And by some miracle, one of us sent it to his team. Someone heard it and played it for Randy, which is, a 1 in a bazillion chance that happens. As many good songs are written in this town. And it became our first #1. He believed in it enough to put on the radio. And when we were backstage at the #1 party, I was telling him this story about him dropping a tip in the bucket. And he was kind of laughing. He was like, man, are you sure it was $100? And I was like, yeah, it was $100. He's like, I must have had too much to drink that night. I thought it was a 10.
Man, that's awesome. So you've been on this journey. You overcome adversity. You make it. You've got, great things happening. And like I said, you are a tremendous talent. And I think the only thing that's kind of slowed down has just been the world with this pandemic. So if you would, last year, and I'm not going to get into politics. Whenever it physically, it got here, March, April, at what point did you really see, hey, things are really changing here? Was it, I know your best friend's your wife, but some of your other friends too in the music business, like you said, your fraternity of, making the calls like, hey, I just got canceled. Did you? And at what point did you kind of realize like this pandemic is kind of going to affect you guys, being able to perform?
Well, luckily I have a really good team around me. My manager manages Blake Shelton and Kelly Clarkson, and he knew, I guess through the grapevine pretty soon. Around February, we were getting kind of whispers of like, man, like this is going to be a real thing. We're looking at possibly not having any concerts for the whole year. And it's like, man, so, we kind of had a little bit of an insight to that, and we're prepared for it. I knew that, okay, well, if that happens, then I'll come up with other ways to get my music out to fans, whether it's virtual concerts or social media or awesome partnerships, like this one, the Cruiser that expose the music to a fan base. So it was different. It was, it was something that we knew was going to have to be done. And like I say, in hindsight, would we have wished that? No, but we've definitely done our best to take the good with the bad and grow this year.
And I know too that, with the pandemic, even at home, it's easy to eat potato chips. You can't go to the gym. You can't work out, to stay focused on, what the goal is that you're chasing. Professionally, it's working out. With music, it's writing. Now, you and I had talked offline. Now, you're not stopping, right? You're using this time to write and be in studio, being safe. And, kind of what's your regiment right now? Is it just, getting pen to paper and getting out more songs right now?
Yeah, it's been a mixture of that and recording, getting as much content as we can possibly get ready for 2021. Next year, we're going to put out an insane amount of music. Like, it's going to be more than I've ever put out.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're really excited to get a lot of new music out, and this was the great year to do it because we were able to write, to record, to get everything prepared, to kind of develop a plan. And we put out music this year too that did really well for us. So yeah, it's just been growing and continuing to grow the fan base and just become more diversified in what we do. Like, touring is awesome, and I love touring. Like, I miss it. I love being on stage. Like, there's no greater feeling than that. But it's pretty cool to know that, like, hey, like, we're in an industry where we can grow and adapt, and there's different ways to do things, just like any industry, you know? So yeah, it's been a cool learning experience.
And just to keep your mind right too, I mean, obviously with, of course, being safe, have you been able to, take some time away and just, either go with your family, which is your wife and your daughters, or, go see your parents? Have you had some time to go and do that safely and just kind of get away for a little bit? And
yeah, man, I mean, like I said, we have not had a summer off. I mean, I don't even know when the last time was. I worked construction jobs when I was a kid, growing up, and in high school, I worked every summer, and then we were touring every summer. So I told my wife, I was like, this might be like this is my only summer off, definitely my adult life, but maybe of since I was 10 or 12 years old. And we've taken advantage of it. We've gone camping. We've done a ton of camping, and we partner with Cruiser, great team. We've done this cool campfire session series that has been really fun, man. And fans have enjoyed it because, they don't always get to see inside my world and who I am and like what my interests are and who my family is. And I think this year has opened my door up to them more personally than I ever have, and shown them like, hey, like I'm just a normal guy. I'm a dad, I'm a husband. I'm an outdoorsman, I'm a son, I have my parents on some of these. So it's been really fun, man, for me and for fans, I think, to do something a little different this year. And yeah, we've taken advantage of it and had some fun.
That's awesome. So if we look to then the future, and like you said, of course, we're going into a fog, but we're positive. We've got vaccines coming. Should we get back to the ability to, for me to bring my kids to come see you on stage, going into next year, then a lot of live music, there's going to be some shows, again, pending this whole pandemic, but there are going to be some virtual events, right?
For sure, man. Yeah, we're planning a lot. First quarter of 2021. We're going to be doing more campfire sessions next year on the road, shooting a lot more of those with our awesome partners, like Cruiser and Line X and Toyota. So be on the lookout for those. But then we're also going to do some ticketed live performances virtually. So those are fun too because they're a little more intimate. You're talking 50 or 100 fans, all together at once, and they're really cool because I get to actually communicate with everybody and like see everybody face to face. So we plan to do a lot of those in 2021.
All right. So my next big question is, you got to give me 5. If there are 5 dream venues that you have not yet played, for example, Red Rocks or somewhere, can you name 3 to 5 venues where you're like, man, if we can't do it next year, it would be like a check the box for me?
Man, you just named number 1 for me. Red Rocks is the one. It's so funny you say that. That's like a bucket list, and I've seen it. I've never seen a show there, but when we were traveling through Colorado, we stopped and checked it out, and it was just like, man, I can't even. Oh, that's going to be so cool to get there. I feel it. I feel like it's getting close. So yeah, Red Rocks, number 1 for me. Number 2, I've always wanted to. I'm from Georgia, so being a hometown boy, like I've always. Like, it's a dream of mine to pack out Sanford Stadium, dude. Bulldog Stadium, one time would be so much fun. I know Luke did it a few years back with Aldine, but that would be killer. 3 would be – it starts getting harder because, there's so many great ones. There's a great one out in L.A. That I never played, and I can't remember the name of it for some reason off the top of my head. It's not the Alamo, but what's it called? Oh, man. Okay, there's one in L.A.,
Okay.
Number 3, I'm blanking on it. Number 4 would be Gillette Stadium. Would be sick. We opened for Rascal Flatts and Sheryl Crow at Gillette Stadium in probably 2016, but it was outside the stadium, kind of like a big parking lot kickoff party. But then we got to stay and check out the show inside. I thought, my goal is to be in there headlining this thing one day. So that would be killer. Number 5, honestly, I've always wanted to do a USO tour, man. I know that's not really a venue, but as far as like a performance goes, I think that would be a really fun thing to do for our troops, and just to be able to get out there and see what they're doing and their lives and what they go through every day. And we've never played outside the country, so that would be a cool excuse to be able to hop on a plane or a chopper and get out there and play a bass.
John, I have to give you one big strike because my girlfriend is from Boston. So, of course, when she hears this interview, she's going to say, yeah, Boston. So, all right. So, if and I know you got to get running. So, I kind of want to round out with this. If people want more information and to become a little fanboy like I have, where can they check out all your music and everything that you have going on, including all the events?
So if you go check out John King Country, JOHNKING country.com, we've got tour schedule, merch, music, links, everything there. If you're on socials, it's always at John King Country, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, everything. And then Spotify, Apple, if you guys are listening anywhere digitally, if you search John King, we come up on all those. And however you consume music. And honestly, I've been doing this for the last few years and I love it. Fans, they can text me. Like, I love texting. It's really me. It's not a service. It's not a 1-800 line or something. The number is 706-949-3181. Text me. I love that because when we're, in a town where somebody's, 30 minutes away, like I can text you guys and be like, hey, like we're coming through Madison, Wisconsin. We'll see you tonight. It's a really cool way to communicate. And I love that 2020, like we have the technology to be able to communicate one-on-one with fans. It's a really cool thing. I mean, I think as artists, our fans are the reason we're here. So like, let's make them feel like they're special because they are. And I love hearing from mine. So always feel free to text me.
John, you are an amazing artist and you're an even better human being. It's been a pleasure, honestly, getting to know you, following you on your journey. I'm real excited about your future, and I wish nothing but the best for your beautiful wife, your daughter, your mom and dad, and everybody back home. So thank you so much for your time and sharing your story. We will all be looking and rooting for you going into 2021.
God bless, man. Thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas.
I'm Will Miller, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the Launching Life's Journeys podcast, brought to you by Heartland RVs. Stay tuned for our next destination.